Good morning, my loves. How are you? I'm going to assume everyone in Perth is still asleep, given it's 7 o'clock over there. Having a sleep in. Possibly everyone in New South Wales and along the eastern seaboard is having a sleep in as well. Because let's face it, we're in isolation, so sleep-ins are welcome. Hello, my darling. How are you? So whoever we have in today, hello and welcome. If I can get you guys, because it's a Diamond Club class, to just put a little hands up in the comment box, because I can see who's joining, but I just need to see a little hands up, or even a little love heart would be great as well, guys. Hey, Chatty. Okay, Perth is awake. Anita's awake. In fact, we've got all the Perth people on. I love it. Guys, just put a little hands up or a little love heart just so that I can actually see. At the end of this class, I've just got to take a screenshot of who's in here because it's a Diamond Club class. A bit hard to explain, but we have Diamond Club rules. So if we were running a face-to-face class, everyone would just put their name and their phone number on a sheet. So I've just got to do it for administration reasons. Anyway, moving right along. I hope everyone is feeling relaxed. You know, it's really interesting times right now. I do talk about this in this group often. It is very interesting times. I try and avoid the news as much as possible, but when I had a look last night and they were saying two different things, we need more severe lockdowns so that we can get out faster, or alternatively we're going to be in lockdown until October, I was like, it's so easy right now to get, I'm just going to turn my phone off. It's so easy right now for us to get totally wound up and overwhelmed and stressed about what we don't know is going to happen. And I'm going to put my hand up and say, I'm one of those people. As I've been explaining to everyone in my posts, I'm trying to do a lot of energy healing work at the moment just to keep my channels open, keep the energy flowing, because once we start to stagnate within our channels, it's very easy to start marinating in the negative. And I don't like talking about, I don't want to be these, one of these people who goes, you can only be positive. But we do know that staying positive is really, really good for our immune system, and it's really good for our overall well-being. We all know this. So today we're going to talk about mood. Hey guys. Julesy. All my uni friends are in here actually. Hey Nick, Julesy, love it. So we're going to talk about mood today, guys. I popped a post up just before this live with a couple of links. Now, if you're already using doTERRA, you don't need to worry about that. Those links are there for any new people popping in that have no idea about essential oils. They don't know about doTERRA, they don't know about essential oils, they don't know how to order, etc., etc. So there might be people popping in from you guys that you've invited. So hello and welcome. Just go to that last post. You'll see this little guy here, which is our paperwork for our classes. So when we run our face-to-face classes, this is the paperwork that we use, the Natural Solutions booklet. Now this is a very generalized booklet, so it has obviously information here, which I'll just run over briefly about essential oils, but obviously all the different kits in here that we purchase or can purchase, the pricing list and the order form. Okay, so usually I go through this at the end of a face-to-face class, but you guys have got access to that so you can download it if you need it. As I said, if you're already a customer, you're all good to go. There was one other thing that I had on here. I've got so much stuff on here. Honestly, you have no idea what I had to go through to be able to sit down and do this class. I had to move all of my birds to the other end of the house because, as people know, when I do my Facebook Lives or my classes, the birds are just going bananas in the background. So they've all been shifted to the other end of the house. The dog's been given a massive bone so the dog doesn't bark. Pearl has been locked in her bedroom so she doesn't parade through asking for more food. I've sent the fridge up there with her so that I can sit here and it goes smoothly, because as most people know, this is not a normal household, but we're going to give it a crack. For those people that don't know who I am, my name is Angel. We've got lots and lots and lots of newbies in this group who might not know me. You might have been introduced by somebody else who has shared some samples with you, some doTERRA samples, that you might have been to another class. But my name is Angel. I live in the Northern Rivers in Lismore, and I have been using doTERRA essential oils for about 4 years. How did I come to be using these oils? Really simple process. Somebody sent some samples to me. Sent me a little sample of, I don't know, I think it was 5 oils. So little samples like a quarter dram bottle with about 10 drops in it. And when I was sent those samples, at that point, I really had only ever used maybe a little bit of lavender, a bit of eucalyptus, a bit of tea tree in my life, and nothing else. So I was extremely new to this process. I've always loved natural medicine, but for some reason essential oils had escaped in terms of the depth of knowledge and usage. So, but it was one of those things, like I fell in love with frankincense. And frankincense is such an incredible oil for so many reasons. We're not going to talk about it today. I'm going to bring it into one of my other classes, but it is a really great oil for mood, just generally. But it's great for so many things. It's kind of one of those oils that should be in every single household. It's just next level. And if anyone in here loves frankincense and uses frankincense and you agree, drop in. I could do a whole class just on frankincense, and I might do that actually. So yeah, I fell in love with the frankincense, and then fell in love with the whole doTERRA, I think, ethos and practicality and sense of community and the whole business plan actually. So it wasn't just loving the products, it was loving the whole A to Z of what doTERRA is. And as someone who, someone who has been a very big activist my whole life, someone who really cares about the earth, really cares about community, cares about, equality, I really love the back end of doTERRA, as in where the oils are sourced, how they're grown, the communities they support, where our dollars go when we buy these oils for our own investment in our own health. Like, I love just the whole process. So for me, it was just a no-brainer. And 4 years later, here we are. I do this full-time. I have a full-time doTERRA business, which I love. Never anticipated in a million years, but I love it. It was funny, actually. I used the oils for about 12 months before I even shared them with anyone. So I'm one of those people who said, I'm never going to share this. And I did, and I do, and I love it. When I'm not sharing oils, I study. So I'm studying Chinese medicine and acupuncture, which some of my little friends in here know because they're in the same class. Outside of that, I'm a mum. I'm a mum to one girl, Pearl, who's 7. I'm a mum to 10 animals, and I co-parent with Steve. And most people know this whole arrangement because it kind of gets crossed over in our Facebook lives. Everyone pretty much sees daily how we live. We're thoroughly Northern Rivers of Australia up here. Anything goes. So yeah, the essential oils are a very, very, very big part of my life. And it's one of those things, they kind of hijacked me. They hijacked my my health, my physical health. I never realized how amazing essential oils could be for physical issues in the body. But most importantly, they hijacked my sense of kind of my emotional matrix and my spirituality, because I didn't realize, again, the depth or the power in these volatile aromatic compounds. I didn't realize the power within them to be able to kind of create magic in the body. And so when I look at what I was like 4 years ago compared to what I am now, in terms of, how I act and how I react and how I show up and how I love, my whole being is very, very different compared to what it used to be. And I think, a part of that is becoming a mum, but I think a really big part of it has been really taking essential oils seriously, researching them, exploring them, experimenting with them, sharing them, kind of working with them and finding this beautiful synergy between me and the oil, and it's like a romance. Does anyone else feel like that? It's a bit like a romance. So this morning when I put neroli and jasmine on, which is my favourite perfume at the moment, I feel like I've got a blocked ear all of a sudden. It's really weird and really frustrating. I feel like I'm on an aeroplane. It's like an air pressure thing. I've got neroli and jasmine on this morning, and as soon as I put that on, I just feel really feminine and alive and beautiful, and I just feel like I shine when I put these on. And I think if that's how that makes me feel, I want everyone to feel like that. So yeah, they're really, really special. And you know, if there's any newbies in here, people will often say to me, you know, Angel, I don't know how to embrace essential oils. It's all a little bit scary. And I'm like, start small. Start really small. Start with one singular oil and start to build a relationship with it. I have people, beautiful souls in my team that just bought one bottle of lavender peace, and that lavender peace has just become a really, really big part of their life. Completely understand why, because it's a big part of my life too. And so from there they build on that experience and they build on that story, and they start to build a collection of oils that they're also building relationships with. Now there's so many oils in doTERRA, so it's not like you can be engaging in everything at the same time, but it's kind of has this beautiful flow and this beautiful harmony that, you know, the oils speak to you from their box when you need them. So when it comes to putting your diffuser on, here's my diffuser. I have adaptive and I have bergamot and a little bit of elevation in there today, which is a really interesting mix. So this is what's called using the oils aromatically in our diffuser. So we've got it filled with water, and then we've just got a couple of drops in on top of our favourite oil. So yeah, as you learn to kind of integrate them into your life, it becomes much easier. And I tell everyone, keep it simple. Don't try and take on the world of essential oils immediately, because I think you kind of need time to integrate and drop into it. I always like people, whenever they start and they buy a kit or they buy a couple of oils or they buy one single oil, it doesn't matter, to kind of sit with it for say 7 to 10 days, and then let's chat again and see how you're going. Sometimes I speak to people and they're like, I haven't even opened the box, I've been so busy. And I'm like, we need to get those oils out into your home, and you need to start getting them into your system. So it's just getting people to make it more of a priority, because once you start, you don't stop. I'm a testament to that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about mood. Now, what I'd love everyone to do is actually grab your favorite oil. I'm going to grab some bergamot and just pop a couple of drops into the palm of your hand and warm the hand up, warm the oil up, and just inhale your favorite oil and just get that beautiful essence up your nostrils. Oh my God, it's so good. So good. Oh, there's just no way in the world, I think, of every single person on this earth that feels the weight of the world right now. I'm like, everyone needs some bergamot, you know? Everyone needs bergamot. This is just next level in terms of bringing the joy back in. And it is really, really tricky times right now. So more than ever, I'm using my essential oils. Really, really, really getting that engagement level up. What's everyone using? Drop in and let me know what your favorite oil is. Those might be using bergamot as well. I mean, you can't go wrong with the citrus. Citruses are all mood lifters. When I first joined doTERRA, I didn't even know this, but I learned it very quickly. We have a lot of citrus oils in doTERRA, and one that I'm going to talk about right now, Citrus Bliss, actually has 6 different citrus oils in it. So it has wild orange, lemon, grapefruit, mandarin, bergamot, tangerine, clementine, and vanilla. It's really beautiful. and very different. I mean, it has bergamot in there, but this is very subtle because it has the hint of vanilla. But when I first started with doTERRA, one of the first things I really embraced was the citrus as a mood lifters. So every time I felt stressed or I felt overwhelmed, I just grabbed a citrus, whether it was a wild orange or a lemon, lime, grapefruit. Grapefruit's one of my favorites. You just can't go wrong. And the simplicity of these is you just grab your diffuser, which comes in your kits, or you can buy it separately, and you just put a couple of drops in. It's really that simple. You can mix it up. You can put a couple of drops of peppermint, a couple of drops of wild orange, which is one of my favorite combinations, or you can just go really simply with just some citrus bliss. Now, citrus bliss comes in our mood management kit. There's only 4 oils in the mood management kit, and they've been put together so well. This is one of my favorite little kits. It's like a mini kit, which is what I want to talk about today. I can't stop smelling this now. It's just, I always forget, one of the fastest ways for us to bring ourselves down and out of that, complete reactivity state of mind where we're like really high alert, what's going to come next. One of the fastest ways to kind of bring that down is to just inhale from the bottle one of these oils out of the mood management kit in particular. These are really, really beautiful, specifically blended for this. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. You could be struggling with trauma, so past trauma, current trauma, stress from the overload at the moment. You might be doing too much. The juggle, might be a new mum. You might be dealing with death in terms of, losing somebody. You might be dealing with your own illness. It doesn't matter. All those things that make us feel less than okay. The support of these oils is just next level and so simple, so simple. We often try so hard to make everything better by creating this really big plan in our head of all the things we need to do to feel better. And sometimes it's just as simple as popping this in the diffuser or grabbing some fractionated coconut oil, which is our carrier oil that works with our essential oils when we're using them topically on the body. So the diffusers when we're using them aromatically, or if we're using them topically, all we need to do is use some of this. So we're just going to pop a couple of drops in our hand. Mine's already mixed with the bergamot, but that's okay. And then rub down the bottom of our feet, or rub the back of our neck. Peppermint and fractionated coconut oil all up the back of the neck, which is what I like to do in my face-to-face classes, to get people to understand that something as simple as 1 or 2 drops of peppermint with some fractionated coconut oil rubbed up into the back of the neck, into the skull, and the feeling that you feel after you do that is just next level. I didn't realize this for ages. I think it was only last summer or the summer before that I started doing it, and I was like, oh my God, this is just insanely good. So you could be taking a rest, and given that we're all in isolation at the moment, there's lots of people resting. So can I ask that you use your fractionated coconut oil, you use your citrus bliss, or you use one of these other oils I'm going to pop up, and you just mix them, just a couple of drops of each, and you rub the bottom of your feet, okay? If you're in a cold climate, put some socks on over the top and let those oils marinate and go in through the reflexology points and feel the benefits in your body as you calm down, okay? Now, everyone sits at different stages of the spectrum in terms of being able to cope, in terms of being able to bring themselves down into a place of calm. Some people panic. You might be using pharmaceuticals for depression, anxiety, trauma, whatever you're doing. Everyone's bodies are working differently biologically. So when I talk about essential oils, we're talking about using these oils to support wherever your body is right now. And some people will have a different engagement to others. Some people might use, for example, lavender, which for me it's my sleep oil, but some people might use lavender and they don't go to sleep, they actually fire up. So always remember that we're all different biologically. We have a very individual biological makeup. and use what works for you. And I always tell everybody, you know, follow safety guidelines, use a couple of drops to begin with, and then go from there. Work out what works for you. I mean, I tend to be a bit heavy-handed in my diffuser, but on my class, I'm like, just pop a couple of drops in. You know, everyone's different. Everyone's nostrils are different. You know, some people, I had a lady come into one of my classes and she could smell the diffuser from outside as she was coming in, and it was too strong for her, so she couldn't actually attend the class. That's no joke. That is how sensitive her body was, and we have to respect that. You might live with other people in a home where it's totally fine for you, and others might be like, you know what, that particular oil doesn't work for me, that particular strength doesn't work for me. So you got to kind of find your way with them. So that's why I always tell everyone, I encourage everyone, just keep experimenting, because you might not even like some oils, which is another whole conversation. But find the ones that make you feel good. We just keep it so simple. Find the ones that make you feel good and use them. Okay, so today we're just talking about using them topically on our body. You can probably see I've got lots on there. Topically and aromatically in the diffuser. So Citrus Bliss is, where are my notes here? So I think it's the invigorating blend. So really good for stimulating a brand new response to fear and overwhelm and lack. You know those times where we're just going, oh, just inhale the Citrus Bliss and bring it right back to, you know, that sense of taking your mind off the fear for a minute and just engaging in the plant. It's really powerful. It's really, really powerful. If I'm not using Citrus Bliss, I'm using Balance. So this is our grounding blend. I always feel like this is my tree blend. It does have, what is it? God, I need my glasses. What's the tree that's in there? Spruce and camphor. I don't know, is camphor a tree? Should know this. So when I smell Balance, it's always been probably one of my favorite blends to sample people with, because the most common issue that comes up in my classes is overwhelm and stress, always without a doubt. And then off the back of that comes sleep, skin irritations, things in the body not working from being stressed. Okay, so stress is always number one, without a doubt. And I've run so many classes in 4 years. It's always number one. So I always feel like Balance, it's a completely different blend to Citrus Bliss. It has a little bit of fractionated coconut oil, but it has the spruce. So we've got the tree in there, camphor, frankincense for those people that don't use essential oils. I call it Frankie. It's got a new one in there, Tanacetum. I'm not actually sure what that is. Matricaria and Osmanthus. This is really interesting. It's a completely different blend to when I first started with doTERRA. It's really interesting. So it's a very, when I smell this, citruses just kind of go like this. When I think of a lemon, lime, grapefruit, bergamot, this is how I feel when I go like that. When I smell Balance, it actually has the opposite. It makes me kind of go and ground. I feel like putting my roots down into the ground and just getting my stability happening again, okay, if that makes sense. It's very reassuring, and it feels like it's very good for my nervous system when I inhale that. So again, if we're not inhaling, we're diffusing, or we're just putting it onto the bottom of our feet, onto our spine, onto the back of our neck, behind the ears. The belly is actually the best place to put these oils. If you want to get them into the system fast, the belly is the best way, but always use your fractionated coconut oil. But when I smell Balance, gosh, everyone I know has Balance in their handbag. It's so funny. Or the touch roller. Okay, so what's the difference between these touch rollers and the blends? These are usually pure blends, and these little rollers have already got the fractionated coconut oil mixed in with it. So These are a little non-toxic perfumes. So the little balance roller, which you can buy in the US part of your Australian store, so handy, guys, because you won't necessarily want to take these bottles with you in your handbag, but everyone I know takes this balance bottle because they don't have this one. This only just came out. But these touch rollers, I have a little pouch that I carry these touch rollers with me so that if I'm sitting in traffic or I'm on a phone call in the car that's, you know, hectic, or I'm running late, or I don't know, it could be anything. And I can just grab this out, do the back of my neck, into the base of my skull, behind my ears, wrists, inhale while I'm driving, and I instantly feel better. Instantly feel better. And it's great for kids too. Okay, so it's great for all ages. We do have safety guidelines for different ages, but these oils, they work their magic in ways that we just don't understand sometimes and we can't see, and we just have to have faith. And it brings you back into your body and understanding that, you know, it's okay to kind of identify where we're falling over instead of sticking a band-aid on it or looking the other way. It's really good to start the self-excavation process of like, what is going on here? Why am I stressed? Why am I unhappy? Why? And we start that process. And as we start that process, which is a really essential process in our life, because we're trying to stay in that place of love and support and community. And so the oils have this really great way of helping us kind of get right into that space and go, okay, what's not working? What do we need to change? What do we need to look at? What do we need to address? So this particular mood management kit is so good for all of that. And as you guys know, this is one of my favorite topics, self-excavation, getting in and peeling out what doesn't serve us. Trauma is a big one. Trauma from our past. I found through this whole virus circus that I've been triggered in different situations with things that happened in my past that just kind of came up like an emotion bubble that had nothing to do with where I was right then and there, but they just kind of triggered and up they came. And I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm so glad that was released. I didn't even know I was holding it. And I find the oils are really good for facilitating that. So you could be doing a meditation practice. You could just be having a nap. You could be just doing anything that brings you into the present moment. And when you've got the oils supporting you at the same time, it's actually quite incredible what can come up. And so many people don't want it to come up because it hurts. It's painful. They go into resistance. They fight it. And you know what? I have been that person. So it's so nice to have this beautiful, loving support from this vibration right here to help us navigate through those painful moments. Because when we're releasing trauma from the body and we're releasing things that don't serve us, and they can be, God, there's so many things that don't serve us, it's not a walk in the park. It's just not. There's lots of tears, there can be lots of anger, there can be lots of distrust of what's going on. I mean, God, the list of emotions and feelings and thoughts and everything is just infinite of what goes on, but it's a necessary journey for all of us. That's how I see it anyway. It's how we grow, it's how we evolve, it's how we step into a place of proper service so we can help everyone. And I always feel like that's why I'm here. It's not even about me. I'm just another number. I'm just here to, you know, share the love. That's how I see it anyway. So balance is really good for grounding us when we tend to take off a little bit. And taking off is pretty cool sometimes. I do it. But balance for me is the tree root oil for getting our feet into the soil. And on that note, it's very important to get our actual feet into the soil as well. So I can't say enough during this time of isolation, sun, vitamin D, and no shoes. Feet out in the grass, feet out in the dirt, so that we rebalance our body the way it's supposed to. You know, as humans, we're not supposed to be cooped up wearing tons of clothes and shoes. It's just not how we're supposed to live. So 10 minutes a day, guys. Bare feet, outside, in the dirt. It's really important. The third oil in this kit, one of my favorites, lavender peace. I love lavender peace to death, and everyone knows how much I love this. It's very calming, it's very peaceful, it's very good for lowering stress, it's very good for sleep, it's very good for just having that aha moment when you go, you know, that big, big, big deep breath, and you're like, and you're like, you know what? It's actually not as bad as I thought it was. You know those moments where we totally wind up, we go into fight or flight, we just totally razz out. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that does this. If I am, I'm going to share it with you. But I find lavender peace really, really incredible for whatever those oils do when they get into the brain. They just go, guys, take a chill pill. That's what they're doing. I know that's what they're doing in there. I can't see it, but I know that's what they're doing. And again, if you're not using the blend on its own, just use the roller. So Serenity is what it's called in America. It's the same as lavender peace. And, you know, I think it's one of all of our favorite oils. Get in the bath. Get your Epsom salts going. Get your magnesium flakes. Get your lavender peace in there. Get it in your diffuser. It doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. It's really good for sleep. But you know what? I remember my Chinese medicine doctor saying, Angel, you need a half-hour nap every day. Your body is screaming for it. And you know, it took me a whole year to actually take that on. It took me another 12 months before I actually embraced it because I felt so guilty about taking a half-hour nap. I felt so guilty. I think it's only recently where I'm like, you know what? We're all in isolation and we all need to stay in lockdown. I think I'm going to have some naps. So if you use lavender peace during the day and you drop off, who cares? Doesn't matter. But whenever you use this, which is the restful blend, it's going to make you feel really comfortable. It's going to make you feel like you're being hugged. It's going to make you feel loved. I use this on Pearl all the time. Steve loves it, okay? So for all the guys that are listening in, or for any of the ladies in here that have guys in their life, lavender peace is so good for everyone, even the pets, and we're going to talk about that in another class, all right? Really, really, really important. It's just, you know when you smell and inhale something that is not like anything else you've ever smelt before? When I have a class and I pass this around and then I pass the lavender around. So this is lavender with the added peace blend in there. And I get people to engage with both aromas, and I watch people's face when they smell the lavender peace and they take in that aroma and they're just like, oh my God. And you know, that alone is why I'm here. Watching people fall in love, watching people anchor in and engage in this stunning plant medicine that just wants to help us, okay? This medicine wants to help us. That's how I see it. I see all these bottles and they're like, hello, let me help you. And as humans, we get really fearful. We go, oh my God, you know, I don't know how to use this, so I'm not going to take the lid off. So trust and have faith and talk to the person who introduced you to doTERRA and start the conversation around how can I make friends with my oils? How can we build a relationship so that I can start to feel like myself again? Because most people I speak to, and I speak to a lot of people, don't feel like themselves. They feel rushed and they feel stressed and they feel overwhelmed and they feel like they're juggling. And a lot of people aren't even in careers that they love. They're not even in relationships that they love. Like a lot of people are living a life that is just a life that tides everything over. And so I find these oils, once you start letting them support you, people start making changes, big changes too. So I welcome all of it, because if we can get people back into their authenticity and back into their trueness and hooked into their higher self, we make so much more magic happen on this earth. So I'm so down with that, and I hope you guys are too. You know, I couldn't think of a better product to partner with. I really can't. The fourth oil is Elevation. This little guy here, the Joyful Blend. So the Joyful Blend is so for inspiring, encouraging and relaxing our body. Whenever I send this out as a sample to people, it usually goes to people that have really struggled with a lot of trauma in their life. I usually play with my samples. I talk to whoever it is that I'm sending the samples to, just get a little bit of a blueprint for where we're going. And I like sending elevation to people that have really struggled with trauma, and the trauma can be right across the board. When I look at my own life, I had an alcoholic father. He was violent. He created a blueprint for us that we're not enough, to live in fear, that, you know, we had to be a yes person because, you know, if we said no, there was so much fear around, you know, what would happen if we actually said no, we might be left alone. So that's an example of a blueprint, a trauma blueprint. So when I use my elevation, it speaks to that trauma. And for me personally, and everyone's different, it just tells me it's okay. Just those two words, it's okay. And I never ever tell people that, you know, what I have here is going to cure you or stop your feelings or, you know, make everything go away. But our oils are here to support that long process of, you know, when we're born, that innocence, and as we condition through life, through all our good and bad times. And I feel like as we kind of go into the second half of our life, we kind of start the journey back to ourselves. That's how I feel anyway. You guys might feel differently about this, but I feel like the oils are so good for releasing any cords or connections or emotional traumatic bubbles in our body that just don't serve us. It's stripping everything back so that we feel completely enough, okay? Completely enough. You know, that for me is where it's at. We want to feel like we're enough. And we are. We're all enough anyway. It's just that we don't believe it. So elevation, again, pop it in the diffuser or just rub your whole body down with it. Get your fractionated coconut oil and use it as a body moisturizer with a couple of drops of this. It's so, it's very different. It's very different to all the other blends in doTERRA. Very, very, very different. It's, when I think of balance being the tree, and I think of citrus bliss being the joy, and I feel like lavender peace being just the calm, elevation kind of for me just gives you that little bit of a jolt. You know, hey, you're still alive. I don't know. It's the only way I can describe it. You smell this and take in the aroma, and you're like, oh, you know, let's go. You know, let's go, kids. So the 4 oils together are stunning. And they all have different ways of speaking to our bodies. Here we go, here, these little guys here, if you can see that. I'm not very good at holding these up. There's always one kind of twisting the other way. If anyone's got any questions about those 4 oils, just jump in. I'm happy to chat. What am I on? 37 minutes. Okay, so I just wanted to add in that there's a couple of extra oils here that I also use for mood support that I think are really important to have in your collection. One being vetiver. I talk about vetiver in this group regularly, and I love it. I used to go through a bottle of this a month. I don't go through so much now, but vetiver for me is intrinsically important for so many reasons. It comes from the root of the vetiver plant. So the top is grass and the bottom is a root. When you inhale this and smell this, it is extremely earthy. It smells like dirt. It smells like the earth, okay? So some people will inhale this and they might be offended by it. And I see this in my classes all the time. They're like, oh, there's just this repulsion. And then other people just, it's like they come home, and everyone's very different. When I first smelt this, I didn't like it. But now, it just makes me feel familiar. There's a familiarity where I feel deeply connected to the earth again. It's really stunning. Now, vetiver is a sedative by nature. So if you're using this in your diffuser or you're just inhaling it, so I'm not going to inhale too much, otherwise I'll fall asleep on here. Or you do the bottom of the feet, which is my favorite. So this is what I've used for Pearl, who is 7. She go to sleep at night. So when she's mucking around and has 1,000 excuses why she doesn't have to shut her eyes, all I do is just drop this onto the bottom of the feet. So you can use it with your fractionated coconut oil, just a few drops, big toe, little toes, in between the toes. That's my favorite way of doing it. Or I just use it direct sometimes. And it is the fastest way out of all of these oils to drop in. Okay, so if I'm using this on Pearl's feet, she's usually out in a couple of minutes. She's out for the rest of the night. If for some reason when I go to bed and I feel overwhelmed because I've got too many things running through my head, depending on where I am during that month. So say I just had end of month with doTERRA, we were getting a lot of stuff over the line. So the day before when I went to try and go to sleep, the vetiver was on the bottom of my feet because when I went to go to sleep, I just couldn't turn my brain off. So even though I had lavender peace in the diffuser, vetiver is kind of the next step up. I've got friends that struggle with really, really bad anxiety, so they jump into panic. I've had a couple of panic attacks in my life many, many years ago. I didn't really understand what was going on at the time, but they're very scary. This is really good for helping you bring that body back into alignment and getting those deep breaths happening again and slowing down the panic and slowing down the overwhelm so that you can just, bring it back to right here and right now. Okay, because when I think of those times where I had those couple of panic attacks, I don't know what happened. I started thinking about what I thought was going to happen and my mind just raced so fast I was gone. There was no pulling me back. So this is really good as part of the mood management conversation for bringing it back to a central place where we can stay calm. And when you're in that space, I remember one panic attack I had, I was like that for hours and hours. I didn't have vetiver back then. I think back to those times and I just feel, it makes me feel stressed thinking about it actually, because I'm like, we're such amazing beings. We shouldn't be living like that, all right? We shouldn't be living like that. And I remember at that time there was a lot of stuff coming up from, my past with my dad, and it was very, very stressful. So I think I was just drinking a lot back then actually, if I think about it. So using essential oils is much healthier. So vetiver is one of my favorites, and if I have a look in my book here, it's the oil of centering and descent. So when we look at the negative emotions around this, it's feeling apathetic, disconnected, scattered, stressed, ungrounded, avoiding, and just basically sitting in crisis. So if this is speaking to you and you're like, yep, I definitely go into that space, try using your vetiver, because what it does, as I just mentioned, it grounds, it centers, brings you back to the present, and just it brings you back into an awareness that is healthy. Okay, vetiver is amazing. The other one I was going to mention was ylang ylang. Got an itchy nose now. I started using ylang ylang primarily when I was doing my detox with my detox coach Tammy. Did not like this oil, but when I started detoxing, felt the need. My body just took over and I felt this need to use this oil. So when I actually started researching what ylang ylang, kind of stands for, here it is here. It's the oil of the inner child. So, oops, I'm about to lose everything. So when we look at the negative emotions attached to this, so it's feeling joyless, over-analyzing, deep sadness, and disconnected from the inner child. Okay, so when I started using this through my detox, I think because I lost 9 kilos, part of that 9 kilos is losing, the emotional trauma stuff that sits in your fat cells. That all goes with it. So you're processing all of it at the same time. And it was such an interesting journey. I just felt this newfound love for this oil that I'd always found polarizing. So some people love ylang ylang and some people are like, oh, I don't know if you guys would agree it's very polarizing oil, but I love it. I really love it because I made a real commitment to go into the inner child space and start to heal it instead of covering it over with a blanket and locking the door. And as I mentioned before, we don't really like going into these spaces because it's really painful. But when we start the process and we go at a pace that works for us, grab the supporting oil that goes with it. So it helps you unwind and unpick and get into the darkness so we can be the light. That's how I feel about these little bottles. They just scream out to us, let me help you. And they do. They really, really do. That detox, so you go back through my videos, you can see all my detox videos, but Ylang was such a surprise for me because I really, really didn't like it. And by the end of the detox, I was just like, oh my God, we're such good friends. It was really incredible. So the oil of the inner child, guys, are really good for helping mood. Okay, because we can stay in those very stagnant places where we're just sad and lonely and, you know, there's so much despair. So let the oil work through the diffuser, through using it topically on the body, and let it help you unpack what needs to be unpacked in that moment. We're not unpacking our whole life in one go because that would be really scary. But let it do what it needs to do in that moment and trust and have faith. People really struggle to trust and have faith these days. With so much going on, it's really hard. But I find with the oils, if I just trust that they're going to do what they need to do, that they're going to deliver they're going to deliver their magic the way they do. If I just trust that whole process, I always feel better. Always feel better. The last oil I wanted to mention is Adaptive. This is a brand new oil. It's a calming blend. It's a brand new oil at doTERRA, and I love this to death. I just love this so much. Every class I've pulled it out in recently, because it's a new oil, everyone just goes and just gravitates to it. They just gravitate. Everyone goes crazy. They're like, oh my God, what's in that oil? It is so good. So I've got it in my diffusers all the time. I love it. I've got it in today. Again, it's not like any of the other blends. It's wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, sweet gum. And it has a sweetness to it that is just so inviting. It's just so inviting. And I have been using these soft gels, these adaptive soft gels. I'm going to talk about all our soft gels in another class, but I'm not going to talk about them today except for the adaptive soft gels. When this virus hit, I just went to my drawer and I was feeling so overwhelmed. And so I just went, right, these are coming out. And I started taking 2 a day and it just took the edge off. Incredible. So incredible. I'm actually surprised at how well they work, because I would normally go to a Serenity pill, which is the lavender peace pills, but they'll send you to sleep. Whereas the adaptive just gives you a nice buffer so that you can just take an extra deep breath and go, I can't control what's going on right now, but I can control myself right here, and I'm just going to stay calm. I'm going to take an extra deep breath, and I'm going to take a couple of these, and we're going to be okay. So I cannot stress enough how amazing these are. So they come as the blend, or the pills, or the roll-on. I actually can't find my roll-on. It comes as one of these roll-ons, but this is what happens with kids. They get into your oils boxes and the stuff goes everywhere. So the oils that I've mentioned today are probably my favorite oils for covering mood generically. So we've got these guys out of the kit. We've got the Citrus Bliss, the Lavender Peace, the Balance, and the Elevation. So those guys all come in a little kit for oils for $124. And when you purchase this weekend, I don't actually have it here. I'm going to throw a jasmine roller. It was on here. I'll just see if I can grab it. Just one sec. Oh, actually, no, I'm caught up in cords. I'm not going to grab it. I'm going to stick a little flyer up. When you purchase this kit this weekend, all right, as a new customer, okay, so if you're a current customer, unfortunately it doesn't cover you guys, but I've got something else for you guys which is equally as fun. But as a new customer, as a Diamond Club customer, you're going to get a free jasmine roll-on. Actually, no, here it is here. It's hiding. This little guy here. So I'm actually using it as a perfume today with neroli. This guy is worth almost $80, so it's a steal. So if you buy the emotional aromatherapy, the mood management kit, that's $124 for the 4, and we throw this little guy in for free, which is worth $80. Because it's a Diamond Club weekend, when you buy the mood management kit, doTERRA's also going to throw in a tangerine, so you're going to get an extra citrus. And if you purchase, so that actual kit would cover 100 PV of product, which means you get a tangerine. If you order 400 PV of product, which is 4 times as much product, if you feel like going crazy, they're also going to throw a spearmint in as well. So those 2 are our Diamond Club oils for this month. As you can see from the promos from all of my customers, they're also throwing in a Citrus Bliss for every new customer this month that does 100 PV, which is awesome. And then if you do 125 PV, which is just a little bit extra after the mood management kit, you also get the free oil of the month, which is Niuli, which is a brand new oil. I don't actually have it yet because I haven't put my order in, but brand new oil at doTERRA. So there's lots of freebies this month. Oh my Lord. You guys are going to get boxes of stuff, seriously. So I'm going to put a little flyer up which talks about this particular freebie, and I'm going to put an extra flyer up for our current customers as well when you buy the mood management kit. I've got to get better at this. This is one of my favorite kits, guys. It's so good. It's so good. My gosh, my dog has been barking outside for like 15 minutes, and I'm like just praying in my head going, please stop barking. She's obviously finished that bone in record time, and now she's like, right, where can I go? Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Normally when I run a face-to-face class, I usually speak to everyone before I run the class and find out from each person where they are struggling in terms of mood, emotional support, stress management. And we usually kind of have a play with, you know, each story and work out what's going to suit them. So if anyone wants to add anything in, please do. Otherwise, I'm going to put an extra flyer up from this class which goes through the mood management kit and the ylang ylang, the vetiver, the bergamot, and the adaptive. Actually, one oil I didn't talk about was Clary Calm. This should have talked about this at the beginning. So Clary Calm, oh my God. Magic. It's magic. This is really good for hormonal support, but also really good for mood management. This is like a staple in actually not every single woman's handbag. I actually know guys that use this as well. I mean, it says monthly blend for women, but so good for mood support and hormonal support. So I'm going to add that in as well. This is really awesome. I won't go into details about this because I think everyone knows about Clary Calm. It was one of the first oils I actually bought. Really good for those moments where you feel like the top's going to come off your head and you're like, I feel like I'm out of control right now. So really good for, you know, balancing everything that's going on. This is really good. Okay, so I don't know which, I'm looking at the peeps in here. I don't know which newbies we've got in here, but just a reminder, guys, your class sheet is in a post before this Facebook Live. So jump in there if you need to have a look through that. There is an order sheet in there as well for you to order. If you want to take advantage of all of these freebies that I've just gone through, fill in a wholesale customer sheet and send it to me. And I'll make sure that all of those freebies are included. I don't think I mentioned loyalty rewards. I'll just go through it very quickly so that everyone understands how this works. In fact, there's quite a few people in my team who have been ordering oils and still don't understand this, so maybe this will be of benefit. On our, I think this is on page, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On page 5, just here, is our loyalty rewards. Now, loyalty rewards is really important when it comes to doTERRA because it's how we get our hands on lots and lots of free stuff, which is good. when you purchase under loyalty rewards, so when you join doTERRA, you can buy one oil whenever you feel like it. There's no commitment, there's no obligation. You can order whenever suits you, and some people do. Or they order the other way, which is they order every month a minimum of 50 PV, which is a minimum from about $50 up, depending on what the products are. And when you order every month, you get a certain percentage back the following month to use for free products. So if you order for 3 months, every single month, a minimum of 50 PV, they're going to give you 10% back the following month in free products. So they're going to put a whole lot of points in your account, and then you just go to your store and you just work out what oils you want, and you just use your points to get them, so you don't have to pay for it. If you keep going past 3 months, so you go 4, 5, 6 months, so say you've been with doTERRA for 6 months, then that's going to go up to 15% the following month, 9 months, 20%, 12 months, 25%. And if you're someone like me who's been in for 4 years, every single month when you purchase your oils, as long as it's over 50 PV, you're going to get 30% back the following month. And this really starts to add up, because last month I did almost 800 PV in product, okay, in 1 month. That was a really big month for me. So it means that I get 30% back of 800 next month to use on products for free. That's quite a lot. 30% of 800 is a lot. So I love this program to death. If you're buying, if you're using your oils the way you're supposed to be using them, you will easily spend $50 a month on oils. Easily. Like when you think about the stuff that you buy at the supermarket, at the chemist, at the health food store, and then you realize that you can either buy it through this store or you can make it yourself and it's cheaper, you'll easily spend $50 a month. There's no question about it. As you can see, I put 800 PV through last month. It was a big month. So I'm a really big fan of this. On top of this, when you purchase 125 PV of product, each month before the 15th of the month, you're going to get the free product of the month thrown in as well. And this month it's Nioli, which is a brand new oil. Nobody has this oil. So jump on in, guys. Some people will say to me, why would I want to be ordering all this stuff? Like, I don't even know how to use it, blah, 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 blah. It's an evolution. When you start learning how to use them properly and you're using them every single day, you'll be replacing oils that you're using. Like some of these oils, I go through a bottle every month. I use all the hand wash, the sanitizer, the detergent, the washing powder. I use everything. So I run out of stuff. So I keep ordering and I keep getting points, and then I keep getting lots of free product. What do I do with my points? I buy the expensive oils with my points. So that's one of the best ways to get your hands on frankincense and helichrysum and sandalwood, etc., etc. So you're not paying for them and not pulling it out of the household budget. Additionally, guys, don't forget, as per my Facebook Live yesterday, if you share your doTERRA link, every single person has a doTERRA link. If you share that link with your friends and family and they purchase, you get paid off that, okay? I won't go into detail here, but don't forget to use your link, which sits in your doTERRA account under website, okay? You get paid the following week. You don't have to sit and wait for a whole month. You get paid the following week. So if you love oils, share them, because there's a really good chance that if you love them and you're using them, that someone else is going to love them and use them as well, all right? Really, really important. Okay, so I'm going to leave the little link up so you guys can jump into that and have a look if you haven't seen this already. If you're already a doTERRA customer, you've probably already been to a class or got sent this by doTERRA. If you don't have this book, guys, that I read out of, it's legendary, Emotions and Essential Oils. This is particularly good when we're going into the mood, emotions, mental health side of why we use oils. This book is next level. Just pop it on your Kindle. I think it's $11. My Kindle's on my iPad, so I've got a brand new copy actually of this. The brand new one's out. It's got a purple front on it. It's got all the brand new oils in there. This is really good to help you on your journey in terms of understanding which oils to use and why, especially if you really want to get into the emotional stuff, which is what I love. If anyone would like more information on how to use these supplements, please reach out. Otherwise, that's it. I'm going to put a couple of flyers up from this class, which goes through what we've talked about today. It gives an idea of what the incentives are for those that couldn't join us. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. I'm on 58 minutes. I've done really well. I needed to be under an hour. Sending lots and lots of love to you guys. I hope that has been helpful. Our next class is on, what's it on? I can't even remember now. I've got my, where is it? Where are we? Here we are. Our next class is on bedtime support. Okay, so I'm going to pop the link up for that shortly. Then we go seasonal support, emotional support, digestive support, pain relief, pets and essential oils, hormone support, skincare support, make your own perfumes, and then oils for spiritual growth. So that's all going to go up shortly. It's going to be a fun month of having a boogie online. I love you guys. Again, if you've got any questions, just shoot me a message. I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend. And thanks for listening in. We're doing this all differently now. I've always loved traveling and running classes and doing the face-to-face thing. So this is all very different for me. I hope it's been helpful. Feedback, send it through. And I'll see you guys soon. Lots of love. Bye.